Hello, Gaz Williams here, and here's my post-NAMM kind of wrap-up. Some of you may have seen my video, which I did last week, which was about rumours and predictions and that kind of thing. Well, now we know what's happened, and I wanted to just take a little moment to reflect on that, and I've got a top 5, which is my favourite things that we've seen in the show. So before we go further, I just want to remind people, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, because I've got loads of cool things coming, and if you enjoy this, then you're going to enjoy lots more things that I've got in the pipeline. And the other thing is, I'm not doing advertising on this channel, so we just get straight into the action, but I will occasionally plug things if I've been working on them and I really want people to hear them. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you a little clip of Matuki playing Sanimentering. I've produced this album, it's coming out in March. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, okay, I know, blatant plug, but please, there's a link in the notes there to see the full thing, and I'd really love it if you could do that. Okay, so NAMM, what happened? Well, my predictions I got mostly wrong. Well, there weren't so much predictions, it was just kind of, I was just looking around for various kind of rumours and various things, but so let's just have a quick recap about some of those things that we talked about and just see what actually happened at this show. Roland, there was a no show for any new IRA products. There wasn't this much vaunted sampler that failed to materialize. Also, no JD XI and XA in white, as Marcus Fuller had predicted. Sorry, Marcus, I know that would have made a lot more sense than the black one, which has got the very difficult to read legibility on the text. And what else didn't Roland bring out? They didn't bring out any, well, there was no announcement anyway of boutique plug outs. However, they did show a complete System 500 set, which I think looks very nice, and I think would be a terrific thing. No price on that yet. I'm sure it was going to be quite pricey, but the other thing they brought out was the boutique factor form factor, the A01, which I'm not that excited about it, to be honest. There's some interesting aspects of it. The fact that it's this 8-bit synthesizer that an old Roland employee had sort of designed, but not so sure about it myself. The big disappointment for me was Waldorf and the Kassettenspieler. It was a hoax. It was a fake, and I am gutted about that, because that was the thing I was I wanted that. So Waldorf, look, make one. People will buy it. They did, however, have a quite nice looking keyboard, which had a space there for Eurorack modules, and they were also showing some new Eurorack modules. But now, and I expect a backlash on this, I've got to say, I was a bit bored by all the blooming Eurorack, this NAMM. It's like Eurorack's taking over, and it's kind of cool. I know lots of you love it, and I haven't taken the plunge yet. I do think it is a potential money pit, bottomless pit. But also, I was just thinking, this is almost like a bit of a get-out clause for manufacturers from making really interesting products. Yes, they can make interesting modules, but, modules, it's really good fun for sort of patching stuff together and making things, but how useful is it really for music making? I think it's partially useful. I'm not going out and seeing gigs and seeing loads of people playing gigs with lots of modular. I mean, it's just too difficult to use in the live environment. I know lots of you will beg to differ, but I think, with modular being as it is, just like this expanding thing, I think that's brilliant, and I don't want to sort of I don't want to put a downer on that, but I was just a bit disappointed that there was just such a lot of action going on in the Eurorack area and not a lot of action going on in other areas. And okay, this, as I say, this is my opinion, but I'm a bit bored of Eurorack, to be honest. I'm a bit bored of it. And Teenage Engineering, they had quite a strong showing with 3 new pocket operators. I reviewed the previous 3 pocket operators for Sonic State last year. Be quite keen to have a look at these things. They are, sort of novelty, sort of toy-like, but you can do really cool things with them. And these are essentially the same as the previous ones, but now you can chain up to, I think it's 128 patterns on them. So there's an improvement there. But let's see. But strange thing that they've announced also, though, is the OPZ. Initially, I started trembling, thinking, is this going to kind of replace my beloved OP1? But no, I think this is going to come in at quite a bit cheaper than OP1, and is something most odd. It's like a sequencer and a synthesizer and a video animating thing. Anyway, more about that, I guess, in the future when we know more about it. Anyway, so Korg, no ARP 2600, which may have disappointed a few of you, and also no, there was no Volca mixer, which was something I was hoping for, but there was something else in the Volca range. More of that in a bit. Nothing from Electron, nothing from Novation, nothing from Native Instruments, but I'm wondering if those are European companies, so maybe they might have things for Music Messe, which, is a German show, maybe a little bit more close to home, maybe away from all the kind of the madness of NAMM. Music Messe will see some launches from them. Also, nothing new from Moog, which we kind of expected, but still a little bit disappointing showing from them. Let me think what else. I've been looking around for this thing, what I'm personally looking for, which is a new audio interface that is some sort of mixer audio interface. I know there's plenty of those already on the market, but I haven't quite found one that suits all my purposes. I just want high channel count and very small form factor. The Behringer XR18 is the closest I've seen so far, but it's not quite right. There's just not enough hands-on control with it for something quite similar, and I didn't see anything. If you did notice anything and I've missed it, please let me know. Okay, Ceremony blew my mind with Melodyne 4, and I was just wowed by it, and I've subsequently bought it, and I'm going to be sort of investigating that over the next few months, certainly, next few years. But it is amazing. It's a game changer. So, but I didn't want to put that in my top 5 just because it's another iteration on something. I wanted the top 5 to represent new products. And anyway, so let's get straight to that. Yes, it's the OB6 from Tom Oberheim and Dave Smith. This is a brilliant thing. These 2 legends, maybe former rivals possibly, because the Oberheim and Sequential were certainly going up against each other back in the late 70s. But they've come together and built this beautiful synthesizer. Now, I kind of think of this as it's quite a very grown-up synthesizer for grown-up people, made by certainly grown-up men. But it's a beautiful sounding synthesizer, and the demos I've heard online of it so far, I just think it's just got this gorgeous sound, and I think for some people they will be very happy with that. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to be around the near $3,000, the sort of price point. I think 2,800. I think maybe was mentioned. So it's not a cheap one, but it certainly is a quality one. Okay, in 4, here is the Expressive II controller. It's a very strange thing, and it's essentially like a mod wheel on acid or something. It's just for the left hand, I guess, if you're right-handed, playing on a mono synth there, and you can just do a whole load of interesting expressivity. It's sort of like maybe going along similar lines to the Roly, rather than it being actually on the keyboard. It's a controller to modulate the sounds so you modulate with your left hand and you play the notes with your right hand, and I think it looks really good, and I've been very impressed with the demos of that so far. Also, it's a new idea, and that gets my vote. In 3, here it is, the Korg Volca FM. Yes, how cool is this? I've been playing around with the Yamaha Reface DX and really thinking, oh gosh, you know, this whole FM synthesis stuff has still got so much to offer. And yet, not many things have really exploited that. So I think this, and especially with it being a Volca, with all the other kind of cool Volca things, I've got all 4 Volcas and enjoy them very much, and I can see this fitting in with my setup really cool. And I just can't wait to get my hands on it. It just looks superb. That brilliant small form factor, but with a surprising amount of depth to it. Amazing. And, you know, Korg, with their wonderful mini log, which I've made a video about as well, you know, they're a very good product, so that they had on show this year. Number 2, Toria. Now, I bet you thought this was going to be number 1, the Matrix Brute. Look at this thing. I'm sure myself, like many of you, was just like gobsmacked, you know, when we saw this thing, because it just looks incredible. And you know, upon further investigation, you kind of realise, oh, it's not the big poly brute that we maybe have expected from them, but it is a monosynth. I think it might do paraphony, maybe duophonic, but you know, 3 oscillators, and it's essentially taking those brute oscillators that we've seen in the mini brute and the micro brute and expanding on them. There's a lot more to them than just those previous products, but it's an evolution of it. They've kept the Steiner Parker filter in there, and they've added a ladder filter as well, and you can do lots of cool things with the 2 filters there. But you know, when you look at that enormous matrix and the various things incorporating step sequencing into it, and really terrific modular matrix patching as well, I think this thing looks a lot of fun. I love the adjustable rake there. It sort of reminds me something of a Waldorf Wave or the Schmidt polysynth, you know, somewhere like that. But no pricing just yet announced, but rumours of it being around the $1,800 mark is definitely causing quite a bit of, you know, people thinking this could be quite an affordable synth that would have a truly terrific stage presence, and there's a load of connectivity on it, so it could be a really great hub for your Eurorack setup that you could then disconnect and take out and play live. So, you know, like my earlier comments, this is this I think gets the balance right about being able to have that exploratory quality, but also to be able to be useful live. Oh yeah, and of course that big matrix can act as an enormous patch panel for jumping to different patches there. So nice one, Toria. This is very impressive. Anyway, this comes to number 1, but what could it be? Now, ta-da! It's the Zoom Arc. Oh my gosh, I guess some of you have fallen off your chair thinking, has the guy gone mad? Some of you know I'm already mad, so that maybe not come as any surprise. But this thing is really interesting. A lot more interesting than I think a lot of people maybe have kind of thought about. You see, one of the things that's super about this thing is it really is a new idea. We've not seen anything quite like it. The closest thing I think I've seen to it so far is the Tenorion, but this goes quite a lot further than that in a number of ways. It uses the idea that the Tenorion certainly had about being able to hold something up and perform it. So it's got a brilliant live potential. But when you look at the spec of it, it's incredibly highly spec, this thing. You know, people going, toy, it's a toy. But it's got 96 pressure sensitive and, velocity sensitive and pressure sensitive pads on it. It's like a looper where you can have up to 32 stereo loops playing simultaneously. It's got really it's got like a synthesizer. What is it? It's a drum machine, it's a sequencer, it's a synthesizer, a looper, clip launcher, a MIDI controller. And the fact that you can detach that ring and hold it up and use it as a wireless handheld, you know, I think there's accelerometers in it and stuff as well. It's such a strange idea, but obviously a lot of thought has gone into it. This is something I have to try. Now, it's not particularly cheap. I think the price is around the $600 mark, whereas, you know, you might glance at it and think it's going to be something in those sort of couple of $100s. But when you look at the spec, you can maybe see why. I mean, and it does actually look quite pro when you look at what's on there. So, you know, amazing Zoom. Well done for taking that, you know, that bravery, this thing that I was kind of moaning a little bit about Eurorack. This is what I want to see. I want to see new ideas that have been, you know, really highly developed. Now, you know, I might be completely wrong about this when I actually try it, but I think I'm going to love it. And I think a lot of people might be quite surprised with it too. Anyway, that's it for me. This has been my wrap up of NAMM 2016. Big thank you to Sonic State for all the amazing hard work. I've just been really enjoying watching all the news coming in over the past few days, and they've just worked so hard to try and bring all that. And yeah, so that's me, Gaz Williams. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. See you soon. Bye.